This Jocks 94.5 podcast is brought to you by Millennium Satellite and Video. Log on to msbnow.com. TV excellence everywhere. That's Millennium. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning starts now.
Welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. 9 a.m. Hour number 3 underway. We're coming back to this weekend's games after we visit with Larry Williamson. He covers the Clemson Tigers. We'll discuss all of that with him. First, I'll tell you about Game Day Men's Health. If you're trying to feel better, if you're trying to lose some weight, if you're wondering why you have brain fog, why you're not getting good sleep, why you feel on edge, Game Day Men's Health wants to help you. And it's simple. Go to GameDayMen'sHealth.com today. Sign up for the free consultation, free PSA test, free testosterone test. You roll in, they're going to tell you where you are and the different ways that they can help you. There are a lot of ways they can help you. Testosterone replacement. They got weight loss programs, the peptides that your body stops making over time that they can get back into you. Minimal upfront cost for all these programs, guys. That's different than a lot of other places in town. Holistic approach to health and wellness. Locker room environment, low stress. They want to get you in and just see how they can make you a better you. Get you back to feeling normal. Game Day Men's Health can do that. Go to GameDayMen'sHealth.com today and sign up for that free consultation. Save 10% on any service they offer by mentioning Mac and Cube when you walk in the front door. All right, Larry Williamson with us now. Joins us on the Higginbotham hotline. Covers the Clemson Tigers. Larry, we were discussing a little bit of LSU heading into this game and the aspects in which they could bring. Some might be what we think they are. Some might not live up to the expectations. What do you think Dabo Swinney's biggest concern is that this LSU Tigers football team is bringing to Clemson this weekend?
I would say two things. One, more of a bigger picture question, just in light of how they responded a year ago against Georgia in Atlanta. I mean, they got drubbed on the scoreboard, but that was a 6-0 game at halftime, and they went into that game really confident that they were going to be able to get at Georgia's defense. But they just kind of melted down on the detail things on like 4 or 5 plays, and that's how little it takes to turn a game into a blowout. I think they were surprised that they weren't able to pull off those detail things that they flubbed last year. So I think that's that's what I sense right now. Like the people inside that football building are very optimistic and very confident about this team. Be it playing at a national championship level. But I think as we sit here midweek, it's like, hey, these are still, college-age kids, a number of whom are going to have to do it under the lights for the first time against a really talented SEC team. So you never really know, right? The second thing, more of a, X and O thing, drilling down on it, I think it's just how you're going to cover those receivers. LSU, you could say they are as good or better than Clemson's receivers. I think they're definitely faster, have more top end sort of vertical capabilities than Clemson's do right now. They just have a lot of them, and so I think Clemson feels good about their corners and Avion Terrell and Ashton Hampton. They feel pretty good about a couple of the guys they have behind them. But at safety, man, they the back end of that defense, you have Khalil Barnes, a potentially elite player that they think is going to be an elite player. He missed most of camp with a hamstring injury, and beyond that, they have almost zero of the experience that's going to really be crucial on late Saturday night.
What do you think about the defensive structure that we're going to see from Tom Allen compared to what we've seen the last few years? I feel like we haven't spent enough. We've talked a lot about Clemson's personnel. We haven't talked enough about Tom Allen and how they might look different this year from a structure standpoint. So when you've watched them, when you've talked to folks, how many changes are we anticipating on that side of the ball?
It's so fascinating. Like you wonder, I mean, it's been a love fest for Tom Allen all off season. He's expected to be a genius right away. What I wonder is when you're starting from scratch as a coordinator and introducing a whole new language, how long does it take? I asked him that yesterday, and he said, the good thing is our culture was already established here. And my biggest job is building up their confidence. And a part of the building up of that confidence is mastering the system. And so I think he seemed a little uneasy just because he doesn't know. He's going to be depending on a number of players who haven't really been in that environment to really produce like they have been in practice. The really interesting thing to me as I sort of ask around and also observe some of the things he did last year at Penn State is how, if you go back and look at Kevin Jennings falling apart at Beaver Stadium, that wasn't just Kevin Jennings having a bad game. That was Tom Allen putting on a masterclass in changing up his coverages pre-snap to post-snap, showing man and then actually being in zone. When you see Kevin Jennings throwing it into the chest of a Penn State linebacker, that's not just because Kevin had an awful brain fart. It's because he didn't know that guy was there. And so I really think they've been working a lot on that during camp, changing up their looks at the second and third levels, pre-snap to post-snap. And I really think that's what he's going to hang his hat on, because I don't know if he's going to have to bring a ton of pressure because Clemson's front four is going to be so good, I think, if they're able to stay healthy.
That would, to me, be what you're leaning on in this game is Cade Klubnik being able to direct traffic, manage a defense that's going to throw a lot of things at you, and then your defense line has to be disruptive. Is there a bigger key than those two for Clemson finding a way to win this game in your mind?
No, I agree. LSU, as fearsome and formidable as they are in the passing game, it's kind of hard to imagine them walking out of Clemson with a win being really one-dimensional. They haven't run the ball well. LSU hasn't the past 2 years. And so if I'm an LSU fan, I am most worried about Clemson's defensive line owning things against an offensive line that lost 4 guys to the NFL draft. Yes, they brought in a couple of transfers on the interior, but boy, they're awfully young out on the edges at tackle. And so, I think LSU is going to have some balance. They're going to have to have a semblance of a running game. You could argue the same thing needs to be true for Clemson. But I think Clemson's probably in a better position to get a somewhat consistent running game to allow Cade to really perform with that passing game that really blossomed late last season.
When you look at Cade Klubnik's growth and the evolution that we saw from year 1 as a starter to year 2 is remarkable. All the things he did poorly in 23, he did better in 24. Downfield accuracy, willingness to take off, ability to beat you and break you down with his legs, a couple massive runs, one against Pitt that won them the game. When you look at his next step, what's he been focusing on this offseason to kind of evolve into a more complete player?
I think it's probably making layups out of the routine throws. If you go back and look, even against Texas, that was the object of a lot of the offseason optimism that you've seen inside and outside the program, because that dude was making some NFL throws for sure, throws and catches by those talented receivers that really made you think, oh, this looks familiar. This looks like the passing game, the Clemson passing game looked from 15 to 20. But I think if you also go back and look at other parts of that game, you see some questionable footwork, some questionable decision-making. I think he needs to refine that. And, oh, by the way, Clemson's last time at Death Valley, Cade had a really good game, particularly running the ball and also throwing it. But there at the end, they can't send their field goal team onto the field to force overtime because he had a really glaring brain fart trying to throw the ball in the dirt. The ball hits Maffa's foot, Phil Maffa's foot, bounces up in the air. Gamecock intercepts it, game over. And so I think that it's probably a blend of a few technical refinements, but also keeping his head in the big stage games, right? Like, being the type of player they need in those settings. And I think this is quite an opening examination of that here on Saturday night.
I don't think there's any doubt. Where's the running back depth chart for the Clemson Tigers heading into this one, Larry?
Well, they are really uplifted by what they've seen out of Adam Randall, the converted receiver. I was a skeptic last December when they moved him to running back, but based on everything I've seen and heard, he's kind of a natural there. Gideon Davidson has been kind of buried on the depth chart. He's a 5-star freshman who naturally, your first offseason through is more than just about what you do with the ball in your hands, because you got to protect that number 2 who's standing beside you, particularly, like you just think about a scenario Saturday night, Harold Perkins coming off the edge, and Gideon Davidson has to handle that amid the pressure of that situation. You get the idea. I think long term this season, they believe Gideon Davidson is going to just go up and up and up. In the context of Saturday night, not sure. David Eziamume, I might not be pronouncing that correctly, I apologize. He's had a really good offseason after he spent his freshman year last year developing. Really violent runner. Jay Haynes, who suffered the torn ACL in the ACC championship game last year, he's still getting back. He's not going to play Saturday, but long term, they're hoping he can get back and be a factor back there.
But with Jay Haynes, what is an update on his availability? Because that was a pretty brutal injury on the kick return there in the ACC title game. And an ACL, you can come back pretty quickly now, but a running back, it just takes time mentally to come back from that knee. So is it expected to see him early, or is this going to be kind of later in the season?
No, I don't. I don't want to pretend that I know exactly what's going on there. Those are always tricky, and it depends on the player. But from what I've picked up, I don't think game 3 or 4 is out of the question. I think he's come along really well. One of the most encouraging sights I thought at the start of camp in early August, late July, he was wearing a big knee brace, but he looked pretty good at that time. And so he looked pretty fluid the way he was moving around, didn't really seem to be favoring it that much. And I've heard nothing of any setbacks since then. I think he's continued to progress. And so, I could be wrong here, but I don't think that they're going to have to wait until like halfway through the season or the second half of the season to get him back.
So how do you see this matchup playing out? How do you see this one going? Obviously, home field advantage for Clemson. They're going to have the advantage in a couple of spots. Offensive line, I think I'd give Clemson the advantage here. You kind of went back and forth with the receivers, but what schematically, strategically, just with what you've heard through camp, how do you see this one going?
I just put a lot of weight on the line of scrimmage when it's an otherwise even game. And, I think if those LSU offensive tackles are able to neutralize TJ Parker and Will Helt and Jaheim Lofton and the interior is able to keep Peter Woods from wreaking havoc, and they're able to get something going with the run and protect Nuss, I think it could be a long day. But I go on what I've seen. I think Peter Woods, he's getting a lot of hype, guys. I don't know if it's enough hype based on what I've heard. I think he's going to have a monster season, of course, with the obvious disclaimer, if he stays healthy. That dude was up to if you told me he was 360 toward the end of last year, I'd believe you. He's down to 307, 310, back on the inside where he should be. I've heard just nothing but rave reviews about him. I think DeMonte Capehart, who's been here for 5 years, he's never really been healthy. Just went through camp healthy probably for the first camp since he's over his whole time here. That tandem right there, Capehart and Woods, with Stephon Green behind him, I just think they are in a much different spot defensively, particularly on the line of scrimmage, than they were late last year when they were giving up 900 rushing yards a game, it felt like. And if you can just dominate the trenches, then that makes tackling a lot easier behind them, because your guys are just, your run fits are probably easier to make. Your alignment and all that, everything sort of helps if you're able to live in the opponent's backfield. So I give the edge to Clemson with their offensive line in the shape they are right now. I mean, I think it's going to be one of the best offensive lines we've seen at Clemson in years, and that's what I give the edge to. But you never know. In this type of game, man, it comes down to, can you hold on to the ball? Can you be fortunate, and can you capitalize in the red zone with touchdowns instead of field goals?
Absolutely. Great stuff, Larry. It's been a while since we caught up with you. Glad you were able to get in here before we get to watch this game this weekend. Enjoy it. Look forward to catching up with you soon.
Yes, sir. Glad to be with you guys as always.
There you go, Larry Williamson. He covers the Clemson Tigers and does it as well as anyone. Should be an intriguing matchup. Should be a fun matchup this weekend with LSU and Clemson. One that I don't know if you see massive advantages in many spots in this one, Greg, but there are a couple that you look at and say, ooh, really like Clemson there. And there are a couple that you look at and you say, really like what we're going to get from LSU there. More with Clemson, though, in your mind?
Yes. I think with Clemson, I at least know what I'm getting along the line of scrimmage. That to me matter. And there are question marks. I think LSU's defensive fronts can be good. I really do. I believe that group has a chance to be really good. But I don't know that for sure. Mm-hmm. I cannot bank my life on it. I'm optimistic. I'm cautiously optimistic, but I don't know with 100% certainty that group is going to be elite. I think Clemson's will be. And then with Clemson's offensive line, I know that group's not going to be elite.
Right.
But at least I know what I have. Whereas with LSU, I have no telling.
Totally fair. All right, so we'll see where that one goes. Obviously, a lot more to discuss with it. When we come back, I have a different direction that I want to take on some of the bigger games this weekend. A little bit of and/or. Going to have the guys choose one side of different aspects of some of these games and see which direction they go. We'll do that right after this on Jocks.
Go inside Jocks 94.5 on Jocks TV. Morning Jocks, Mac and Cube, and Three-Man Front video simulcasts are presented by Bill Smith Buick GMC and Game Day Men's Health. Watch on the Jocks mobile app and YouTube by searching Jocks 94.5 TV.
All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. I want to get to some sort of and/or, if maybe, who will be better when we're talking about this upcoming college football weekend. A couple different directions that we're going to go here. I am getting a barbecue place to stop by in Waco, Hellberg Barbecue in Woodway.
I don't know it.
Top 10 in the state, apparently.
Hey.
So for you guys making the trip there, you can go check that one out. See if that's the one that works. Don't know. I don't know spots in Waco.
I mean, I have been to Waco 100 times. Waco is mostly famous for kolaches, which is hilarious. But they have some of like the best kolaches in the United States for whatever reason. I don't know why that is. I've never done the due diligence, but they are so good. If you were looking for like an easy breakfast, highly recommend going and getting a kolache in Waco.
Okay. Let's go through some of the games this weekend. I give you the better or worse, over or under, more or less of one aspect of these games. You tell me which direction you would go and why. More passing yards this weekend. Cade Klubnik, Garrett Nussmeier. Craig?
Garrett Nussmeier.
Why?
Because they can't run the ball.
Or won't run the ball?
Oh, stop.
Which?
Don't you start.
It's a new year, Cole.
We're turning
it's
over
a new year.
Cool.
We're being positive.
It's not a new year in August. I mean, we've been in this year for a while.
Cole's in the hole.
New football year.
Cole is in the hole.
Turn the page.
Exactly.
Damian, more passing yards. Cade Klubnik, Garrett Nussmeier.
Garrett Nussmeier.
John?
Klubnik.
Okay. More rushing yards in the game. Think carefully before you answer. Notre Dame or Miami?
I think lost in the shuffle of Miami's offseason evaluation is how good they were running the football at times last year.
And the strength of their team is going to be the
offensive line.
There you go.
Hand in the 2 points dance in the dirt.
Hand on the hip. So you'll go Miami is what you're saying.
Yes.
Damien?
I'm going Notre Dame.
Okay.
Notre Dame because sack yardage counts in rushing yards as well.
Whoa. I think that's a really important aspect of that football game. Interested to see with some injuries if the Notre Dame offensive line can get Jeremiah Love going against Reuben Bain and company. Also, we all talk about Carson Beck, but as Greg has told me a couple of times, he is scouring the internet to find catches that these new receivers for Miami have made. Is that just going to work?
They have good the problem is just you got to go look for it. Like they have a speedster from BYU named Keelan Marion that can hit 21.5 miles an hour. He can rip. Problem is BYU is not like an exceptionally good passing team last year. So the tape of him, quote, making plays was a little few and far between. They bring over CJ
Uzama.
No.
Gardner Johnson.
No, CJ Daniels from LSU
and Liberty.
Correct. And there's some good tape from CJ Daniels, but he's a little banged up most of last year.
Yeah,
like,
I think
he's
last year.
He's a steady, solid wide receiver.
I loved him when LSU was getting him, though.
Not a game breaker, but a steady and solid player.
It's a Keandre Lambert-Smith type guy.
Yeah, so I think it'll be kind of interesting to see how it all works out with the wide receiver core, because I think I think Miami's personnel at wide receiver is talented. It's just you're kind of piecemealing it together by going and looking at skill sets and traits and hoping that it fits into what they want to be. Like we know what Miami is. Now with Cam Ward at the helm, very different than what I think it will be with Carson Beck. I think they're going to run the ball more. I think there's going to be a lot of check with me's at the line of scrimmage where, hey, if the numbers look good, you run the ball, hand it off. I think every play could have a tag this year for Miami. Why wouldn't it?
Yep.
I think they'll have a ton of RPOs. If you get one-on-one, take it. If you don't, run it. And if you look at Miami's run game, it is downhill. Ooh, it's downhill. So
North-south, that's for sure.
It's I'd probably go Miami, but I don't think that it's a foregone conclusion.
More interceptions. Steven Jelly, Joey Aguilar.
Aguilar.
Does that have to do with just more of newness of the offense or
I just think
quality of the defense?
I think he's a little bit more of a risk taker. Like Angeli knows who he is. He's not going to he's going to play winning football. He's not going to be
proven there that new guy can come in and do good things.
It's not going to be glamorous.
Yeah.
No.
Like it's going to be efficient. It's going to be moving the chains.
It's also going against a really good front.
Correct. And I think he will get flustered. I think Tennessee will win the game. I just think Angeli is not going to be a guy that puts his team in harm's way.
Damien?
Yeah. Kind of with Greg's point with Aguilar.
Okay. John?
It's probably going to be Aguilar.
Okay.
Because even though Tennessee's offense usually is predicated on not turning the ball over, when you have that turnover Geno menu, it's hard to kind of pass it. So I think Aguilar has more.
Boy, they played this song out when it was hot. All right, more touchdowns accounted for. Pay attention to context clues here. More touchdowns accounted for. Sawyer Robertson, Jackson Arnold.
On the season or the game?
The game.
Do pick sixes count?
Sawyer Robertson.
Okay. Damien?
Jackson Arnold.
You're anticipating a lot of quarterback run by Jackson Arnold?
Maybe a smidge.
Yeah. I can see
no,
it.
pick sixes we're not counting that here.
Okay, then Sawyer.
Oh. Okay. No confidence in Jackson Arnold here on this show other than Damian.
Hey.
More touchdown passes only. Caden Salter, Haynes King.
That's such a good one. I'll go Caden Salter, but I don't feel great about it.
Playing from behind, maybe?
Perhaps. But I also think Georgia Tech's weapons are going to be good. I don't love the addition of Rivers at FIU. The more I watched him, the more I'm like, okay, this is going to be legit. So I think that's going to be interesting.
Okay. Damian?
Caden Salter. I don't think they're gonna make Haynes King throw it that much. So
He'll on the ground do most of their damage.
Yeah.
I think some quick throws could maybe do it for him, some screens, things like that, where maybe a pop pass here or there down in the red zone, he could go ahead. But I would probably lean Salter here as well. John?
Haynes King.
Oh, well, it's Georgia Tech guy, of course. He's a homer. More sacks in the game. Not allowed, which this would play into that, sort of, but we're not talking that. We're talking team who has more sacks at end of game. Texas or Ohio State? This is a fun one. Because you think about those Texas edge rushers, Colin Simmons, Trey Moore when he's down, Ethan Burke being able to get after you. Yeah, the middle might have some questions. Ohio State's O-line a little bit reworked. Julian Saying, new quarterback. Arch Manning, better mobility.
Right.
Can get away. Texas O-line completely reworked. Ohio State lost some pass rushers. This is a complete coin flip in my mind here.
Texas.
I might just go Texas because of the escapability of Arch.
Yeah. Texas easy because of
Easy,
who they
you
have.
say?
Yeah, who they have tackling on their defense. Yeah, Texas.
I go Texas.
I don't know, Greg. That Texas O-line is what would scare me about being so
Scares me to
confident that it
death.
would be Texas there.
The Texas O-line scares me to death. I don't have a lean on this one. I'll go Texas, but I don't feel great about it.
Texas is your winner then. Context clues again here. Pay attention closely. More rushing touchdowns in the game. Not the season, Greg.
Oh, boy.
Or the month. Thomas Castellanos, Alabama running backs, plural.
Collectively, Alabama running backs.
Okay.
Alabama running backs.
John?
I think it's Castellanos.
Ooh. See, I didn't think that was as easy as y'all made it sound. That was one that I kind of went back and forth on, like, I could see maybe.
Nah.
Alabama running backs will get it, though, because they had more votes. Finally, going back to Columbus, Ohio. This one is not as black and white. This one a little bit more gray area, but I just want to hear your answer. Better outlook for after the game.
Ooh, open-ended.
So specifically taking game performance and then how that changes opinions moving ahead. Arch Manning, Julian Saying.
Arch Manning.
Man, the Ohio State Texas questions have been much easier than I anticipated.
I'm going to be honest with you. I watched the Julian Saying clips yesterday. I watched all 27 snaps of his from last year. I was underwhelmed.
Arch could be running for his life, though.
Could be. The thing that I find
I'm just
interesting,
throwing out other sides of these.
I get it. The thing I find interesting about this matchup potentially is that I think the linebackers for Ohio State are really athletic. So I would expect a spy on Arch Manning all game long.
Invisible or not?
Invisible spy? Depends.
Les Miles always said, if you could get an invisible spy, that's the direction you'd want to go.
It's always what I want. I want to lean on less.
Less is not always more.
No, I'm going Arch Manning.
Arch Manning, okay.
I think it's saying.
But think about this right now, though. How much better could Arch Manning's outlook be?
And that's why I'm going.
And how much
Saying.
better could Julian Saying's be?
Yeah.
I don't think Julian Saying even half has an outlook right now. Like, how many people are out there saying, just wait, other than Ohio State fans, because they will not even allow a way that Texas can find a possibility to win this game based on what I'm hearing.
What is the comp for Julian Saying? Like, if you had to compare him to
Bo
something,
Nix.
That mobile, you think?
Auburn or Oregon?
He can move some. He had one run last year. I think it got called back, but he did look like he was pretty athletic.
Yeah, I know he's fairly nimble, but I didn't know.
He's not a guy that you want running. Like, his run is not going to just wear you out, but it's not.
Doesn't have the toughness at the end of him either.
Yeah, it's not. He's 208 pounds. You don't want him taking a lot of big shots, but he can keep you honest with his legs. He's kind of your typical modern day quarterback. Like, every modern day quarterback has to have an ability to keep you honest, but at the same time, maybe not a guy that can kill you with his legs. I think he throws a pretty ball. I think it's a nice spin. It's catchable. But I tell you what, man, inaccurate passes last year, particularly against Purdue. A lot of misses last year when he was in the game. There were a lot of big misses. Uncatchable passes like that look, it's a freshman, might have been 10 degrees for all. I have no idea. Coming off the bench cold is never easy. Like, so you got to take it with a slight grain of salt, and you got to think from year 1 to year 2 he's going to be a much better player, but he's got to be a whole heck of a lot better than what I saw on the tape last year if they're going to win this game.
More total yards: Kyron Drones, Lenore Sellers.
Lenore Sellers.
They could be throttling back late also.
I'm about to say, I'd go Kyron Drones.
That's the only way that I would see it. Because
I think Kyron Drones is kind of a one-man show. I don't think Lenore Sellers has to be.
That's
I
sort
like
of the direction I was going to go.
I think they have a good back. Like, I think they're going to be okay. So I think they'll distribute maybe a little more this year, and that'll be a little helpful. I think Kyron Drones is going to have to go off. And against a relatively new defense from a personnel standpoint, that might be possible.
Okay, this one's going to sound easy when you first hear it, but there are some context clues that you need to pay close attention to. More receptions: Jeremiah Smith or Texas running backs and tight ends?
So what? And going back and our new software, I just absolutely love it. I went back and watched the tight end at Cal, Jack Endries.
Mm-hmm.
That guy's going to be a good player for Texas. I'm just telling you, there will not be a show in college or show in the country that will tell you, hey, keep an eye on this kid, Jack Endries, for Texas at tight end. I bet you there's not a listener that is listening to this show that knows who the heck that guy is.
Here's the thing. He's fine. I don't think he's an upgrade from Gunnar Hill.
He's not an upgrade, but that's not the question. The question was,
he will be more of a liability at the line of scrimmage. I think maybe straight line speed he has just a tad more. I think he's fine.
The question was,
Jeremiah Smith or running backs and tight ends for Texas.
Quantity,
more catches.
In quantity. And remember last year, and this is not necessarily an indicator of future results. We know this. I think Texas was going to have a really good plan for Jeremiah Smith. He had one reception for 3 yards in the semifinal. That's been long documented. We know that. They're going to double him. They're going to say, all right, we feel good putting our weaker of our two corners in a safety and bracket Jeremiah Smith, and we're going to make Brandon Ennis and Carnell Tate beat us. And we think that Muhammad, our number one corner, can handle Carnell Tate one-on-one. And we think that our pass rush can create enough havoc, and we have enough athleticism in the interior and at nickel to handle Brandon Ennis. Now, those two guys go off, you got major issues. But I think they will sell out completely to shut down Jeremiah Smith's looks.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of where my head was
going. You think they can shut Carnell Tate down one-on-one?
I think Muhammad's got a chance. I don't think he's going to shut him down. I just think
some of that may go back to quarterback.
A lot of the one-on-ones are going to come down to Tate versus Muhammad. That's my guess.
All right.
That's what I'd do if I were Texas.
So you're going Texas running backs and tight ends?
Yes.
Damian?
Same.
John?
Yeah, because he really averaged, I think, like 5 a game.
Also, if you're playing spy, what does that mean your linebackers are doing? Looking at the quarterback. What does that mean they're not doing? Looking at the running back. I think the running back receptions in this game could be pretty high.
Weiser's back, right? Yes. Okay, cool. Running back receptions.
CJ Baxter's back, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Sark's going to Specifically with Arch on the road in a game of this magnitude, I would expect a lot to be geared towards quick passes to the backs out of the backfield. So I would probably go there too, even though I would set the over-under for Smith receptions a little bit higher than what you were thinking there. I'd probably have that at about 9.5.
Under.
Receptions?
Under by a million.
Oh, you're going to force feed him. Let's go.
Yeah, and you know what? He's probably going to catch most of them too.
That is true.
Double coverage or not. Like
No
that
one's
guy's going to go
denying
get
that,
it.
Hang on a second. Hang on a second. You're telling me that you think he has 10 receptions in this game?
I'm telling you, I think he's the best player in college football.
I don't disagree
And there's
with
not
that.
a damn thing a lot of people can do about it. That's what I'm telling you.
Texas did something about it last year.
He's a freshman. He's a true freshman.
10 receptions? You know how many catches that
He's
is?
the best player
10.
in college football.
One more than 9.
Cole drinking that clown water.
And it
Hey,
Put some money on it. I'll take under.
under 9?
I say 9 or less. If 9.5's the number.
here's what I like here.
Oh boy.
10 is egregious,
It is egregious. That's
10
what I'm
is out of
saying.
this world.
Literally one.
That's what I'm saying.
but he'll take 9 or less.
First of all,
I could absolutely see 9, 10.
No, you set the total.
You're an idiot.
You set the total at 9.5.
I did, but you're sitting there telling me 9 is responsible.
I said I'm
But
not saying
10
it's
is egregious.
responsible.
You
I'm
said
just
I'll
saying
take 9 or less, which means you think you can get
I'll
to 9.
adjust it. I'll go 7.5.
I'll take way over on that. So play it in the middle. We'll go 8.
8.5 or 8?
8.
Oh, why not 8.5?
I was going to take 9.5. I'll take 8.5. I don't care.
Well, obviously.
You sitting here telling me that you think somebody's going to shut him down. It's
Texas
hilarious.
just did.
Who won the game?
Ohio State
So that
By
means Texas
doing
can't,
what?
can't beat them next year.
by running the football.
Exactly.
Okay.
With 2 guys that aren't there anymore and an offensive line that's also not intact anymore, which means let's get it to that guy.
All right.
You didn't have to throw it to him 20 times. You've been a new quarterback before. You've said this. Who did you want to go find? Probably
Julio.
number 8.
I think number 8's good.
Yeah, I think Julian's saying
I
in the
think I'll
back of
look
his
in
mind
his
is probably
direction.
going, when everything breaks down and it goes to hell in a handbasket and I don't know what to do,
Floor is open.
by God, I'm probably throwing to that guy. Lob, dart, back shoulder, underthrown, overthrown, good chance he's getting it. Man, I hate to overcomplicate some things sometimes, but let's throw to him.
I wonder if Texas knows that's coming.
Okay, we'll see if Texas's corners are good enough to do that. Back with more after this.
The capital of the sports talk nation. This is Jocks 94.5 and JocksFM.com. Birmingham.
All right, welcome back in. McElroy Cubelic in the morning, 9:45, Wednesday, August 27th, right here on Jocks 94.5. Before we move on, a couple other maybe sneaky games to just say, careful. Golden Domer says, SEC about to get exposed again. Probably cover spread 50% like usual, lose a few like usual. We special. So if you don't cover the spread, you're exposed?
By Vegas terms, yeah, I guess.
What if you won the game?
Good teams win. Great teams cover.
Talk to them.
According to some.
Go back and check. John, could you grab the clip where Herm Edwards says you play to cover the game? Can we get that audio? Or actually any coach that said you play to cover the spread. I need that clip for the last team that was motivated at all by covering a spread. That said, by God, we got to cover, guys. Now, if we were referencing our Texas-Ohio State conversation a moment ago, then yes, that would be your mindset heading into the game. Jeremiah Smith, Ryan Wingo, Jack Indry's like, yeah, we got to cover. Don't feel like you're exposed if you don't cover spreads in a weekend.
I would tend to agree.
Nebraska-Cincy was one we talked about during the break, Greg, is one just – we're going to give you a couple be careful games because I think we've opened folks' eyes, at least I hope we have, to Tennessee-Syracuse. Be really careful with that game. Virginia Tech, South Carolina, be really careful with that game. Those are a little more obvious. I think some people would look at and say, well, yeah, of course. Brendan Sorsby can play.
Yes.
Quarterback for Cincinnati. And they have the majority of that offensive line is back intact. They ran the ball well last year. Now you lose Corey Kiner, but Tyree Walker from
Wisconsin
and Oklahoma and Palomar Junior College. He's been around for a minute. Oklahoma folks loved him when he was in. from Las Vegas originally, but 190 carries, 864 yards, 10 rushing touchdowns last year. So I think they're still going to be able to run the ball. And as you pointed out, Sorsby's got some game. Now it's a totally new receiving core, so that's got to fit together. That's got to work. But as you stated, just be careful, Nebraska.
Just telling
Arrowhead
you.
Stadium. It's not at home. You don't have home crowd advantage.
I'm just telling you.
Be careful.
I think Sorsby is a dude. I'm a big fan. He's 235 pounds. He's a power runner. He was the only quarterback in the FBS last year to have a 425-yard passing game. That was against Texas Tech. And a 125-yard rushing game. That was against Iowa State. The only one.
Oh, boy.
In the entire country. If he gets going, you got problems. He was one of just 3 quarterbacks in the country that went for over 2,500, 15 touchdowns, and 9 rushing touchdowns. And by the way, did so with an underwhelming supporting cast. And that group hopefully is better this year.
You've got Eric Phillips back. You've got Dante Corleone back up front for Cincinnati, guys that have proven they can get to the quarterback. Just all we're saying is be careful there. Just be very careful of that game. Mississippi State Southern Miss, another one that people were looking at saying, watch out. I'm going to just go ahead and say I'm not really buying the Southern Miss thing here. I think with now finally getting Blake Shapen in there, he's got to stay healthy. But with him healthy, some of the additions they've made up front on that offensive line, other people are, Greg. Now listen, I understand you can't go sleepwalk through any game. You see this one a little bit different than I do. This is not on my, hey, you better be careful radar just yet. Now,
why do I think it's on the, hey, you better be careful radar?
Because they have all new players and nobody knows what to expect.
All new players. A lot of those players were at Marshall. Those players understand the expectation level. They were pretty dang good at Marshall the last couple of years. Not like winning a ton of games, but they were physical and they can rise to the occasion. And who does Mississippi State play next week? What's a bigger game for Mississippi State's brand profile? A game on the road in Hattiesburg, watched by hundreds, or a game where they welcome in a college football playoff team from a year ago at home at Davis Wade with a national TV audience that will be in the millions?
I get it, but I also don't think Mississippi State's in position to be that, and I think they know that. I think inherently we can't be looking ahead at Arizona State. We got to handle this one. We got to handle this one first. Then we'll worry about the other ones.
I get it. And it's a rivalry game in state that I think will have their attention. I'm just saying if they don't, be careful. If you're looking ahead, you're going to be in for a battle. You lost to Toledo last year, so you have already shown an ability to lower yourself to the occasion. If you let it become a street fight, that's not good for where things could be heading.
Fair. All right, when we come back, we're going to get another tweet from Domer on gambling and how that decides whether or not you're a good conference or not. But first, Greg, as we hit the floor of the show's possibilities by reading Domer's tweets next segment, if you need a new floor in your home, who do you call?
That'd be Shinar Flooring. They're great. Fu and his guys have done an amazing job of stockpiling inventory. They have 40,000 square feet of Core-Tech flooring by Shaw in stock right now. That's huge. But you can also go and take advantage of that inventory by getting $10 off per box that you order from Shinar Flooring. You can do so by going to fuandyou.com, looking at all the options. That Core-Tech flooring by Shaw will improve and upgrade the value of your home or business. So go and check it out today. fuandyou.com at Shinar Flooring. 12 months financing is available. fuandyou.com.
All right, when we come back, more on SEC covering games and potentially a bad box score of the day right after this on Jocks.
Go inside Jocks 94.5 on Jocks TV. Morning Jocks, Mac and Cube, three-man front video simulcasts are presented by Bill Smith Buick GMC and Game Day Men's Health. Watch on the Jocks mobile app and YouTube by searching Jocks 94.5 TV.
All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Golden Domer tweets in, anyone willing to bet I'll take every Power 4 team to cover the spread versus the SEC. I'll have a winning record Sunday night when I'm watching Notre Dame drag the U.
I'll pass.
But who cares? Is it not about winning and losing? That would be my point. Alabama's heat and humidity is another point to make. Don't let it affect your home and family. Keep them comfortable with an affordable trade and cooling system. They've been recognized as America's most trusted brand 11 consecutive years. Official cooling partner here at Jocks. Find a comfort specialist near Train.com. It's hard to stop a train. Well, why does covering a spread make you elite? When does that become the gauge of if a conference is good or bad? And I'm asking honestly. I don't know. I don't understand this. It's not about. I thought you played to win the game.
Usually.
I could legitimately care less how many covers or non-covers or any of it. I don't. Who cares? But.
I mean, it's still nice to cover because there are a lot of people watching that.
Yeah, if you're on that side of it, great.
A lot of people care about that.
I mean,
you are so down on
no,
covering.
it just doesn't move the meter for me. I'm not going to sit here and be like, cover machine, best team in football.
Cover machine.
Against who?
Guess who? Cover machine. The old cover machine.
The whole cover machine.
Love the cover machine.
I don't know. See if Texas can be a cover machine. Apparently Greg thinks they will. Find out this weekend. 3-man front. Talks about it next.
This is McElroy and Cubelic in the morning.